All right, so it's now it's time for the feature poet Tatiana. Yeah, make those noises, do yeah. So in lieu of ever reading a bio, I never read the features bios. I just tell the story of how we met. I don't remember how I met Tatiana. We have many mutual poet friends in Boston, and so I know that I have slept on Tatiana's sofa numerous times in her apartment. It was me and a crazy-ass cat named Frank, all right? Like, this is the meanest cat I've ever... People are always like, I hate cats, they're so... Nah, this cat, like, knocked... This is just gonna be about Frank now. This cat knocked my glass of wine off the table and into my shoe. Into my shoe. They were off. I was ready for bed. And, like, into the shoe. I was like, fuck you, Frank, and like meant it. And like, you don't speak English or even accomplish like higher level cognitive functions, but fuck you, cat. Give it up for Tatiana Johnson.
Hello, I'm the owner of a mean cat named Frank. He's really terrible. But I love him. The black woman that I come from had babies tragically, loved them anyway. Their dandelion babies grew pretty little weeds the world plucks at the root. At the clinic, I asked for ways to not have them, to keep the babies a dream and a future body. The doctor tells me there are options. Some options last for years. What he really says is my body is mine. I do not have to harvest children if I do not want to. This is beautiful. No one can tell me I have not become God, that I have not mastered my own alchemy. This choice is power I forget about sometimes. The bodies of the woman I come from, unwilling vessels, slaving wombs, churning, birthing, gardens of flowers misty with blood. I do not bleed like they did. I am selfish instead in this body. I feel past prayers of a sea of women asking to be selfish in their bodies. There are few choices when you need your body to be yours and it isn't. There are choices when you need your body to be yours and it is, and it is. Even when a master's thorn raptures all the growing, these bodies, these acres with fighting roots, cracking all this earth have grown into something kind of free. Okay. So thank you, Mason, for inviting me here today. This is my first time at the Bowery Poetry Club ever. So I do have a book here. It's called For the Love of Black Girls. It's mostly about black girlhood. It's like anecdotal, mostly about the erasure of black girlhood. I just read a study. I don't know if people have read it, but you can find it online. Through Georgetown, it was talking about how black girls are not perceived as to have any sort of childhood or have never been perceived as innocent. So, or girl, or whatever that means to you, girl, or like young, or not, strong. So this is just a book as an ode to my girl self and black girls everywhere. So I'm gonna read some poems from that, if that's cool. So this poem is after the iconic book, Invisible Man. Has anyone read that book? Okay, some people are shaking their head no, so I'm gonna explain what that book is. It's by Ralph Ellison, a black writer, and he talks about being a black man coming from the South to the North. All right. There was a black woman once, before Ellison documented a black man sitting with angst in his room, before the story of a dark southern dream fleeing to a disappointing north, before the man learned how to be man, to reconcile his edges in the curve of a capitalist lynching, a job even, before he dated white women worshiping the fact, before his militants riled up in his stomach one day, spewed consciousness amongst black crowds, Before every concrete building in New York made him cower away from himself in a basement filled with lights. Before his morning became a book given to urban schools filled with brown kids. Before a girl was made to read it, saw nothing of her own blackness in a book about a black man's blackness. Before she wished for books about her own mother's cracked hands, raising a cigarette to her lips, or about the way her own body could become a swallowed away night. Before she knew she could hate a book about her people and still love herself. Before she knew books by women who wrote like they had been listening the entire time, as if they had never been erased or caged to the pen of a misogynist rant. Before they were held to the light like punished gods. Before she knew the chronicling of a black woman's existence could turn story, could turn healing, could turn visible. There was a black girl building her own universe. There is a black woman still. So, I guess this was like about this time last year. I was at a pool party with a bunch of my coworkers who were all, not people of color. They were white. So one of them said to another white coworker, "Are you turning black, girl?" And I think she was talking about her being tan. So this is a poem I wrote about that. "Are you turning black, girl?" she says, "because my white coworker is tanning. The absence of my laughter becomes a black woman's ghost who watches her skin become a coat, sees the coat bury a white body deep into a new identity as if to hide, makes me wonder, will there come a time when the things a black girl can be become pieces on a white mantle in an empty mansion the world can only marvel at, where the black women who've been seized of their bodies float, haunt, mourn for everything that has been stolen." Cool. That's the end of that one. So many people don't know, well, in my experience as being a young black girl, I would get my hair straightened with like a hot comb. Do people know what that is? Okay, a few people know, but it's like a comb and like, there's electric ones now, but you could like put it on the stove and it was like iron, like it was really hot. So this poem is about getting your hair straightened, but more about how you can't really swim or anything after you get your hair straightened because it would mess everything up. So this is that poem. "Vanilla pound cake feels like clouds in black hands, is softness on a chiseled bruise, makes the days like days should be, another way to attempt to feel light. The woman who made the woman who made me dark and short, shy in shadows, makes cake with all the cream in the kitchen. The white hits the batter, becomes something else, more delicate on the tongue. My hair is burning in her kitchen, an iron close hissing my scalp, the static of my hair baking the knots into smooth, and I stay away from the sun, the water, sit inside instead, wishing away sweat, watching the black boys playing their hair granite against the wind of a jump shot in heat, hearts rising with the rhythm of cake. Almost can reach the strands of my head, I think, to my shoulders. This makes me feel more girl and less black thing. No braids, just straight dangling beauty, revolting to curl back above my ears. And no one notices the change, how sweet I have become, how good I am now. I taste the salt on my lips, wonder if I only taste this rancid to my own self. A little girl has told me that I am black, that my hair won't grow too long, and I believe there is something wrong. The woman whose hair is as unruly as mine says there is something wrong when the cake is too dry, so to always add creamer to please the palate. So I do always add something soft. Perhaps the swallowing of all of this will barely scorch the tongue. Perhaps it may float gently against the cave of someone's mouth. So there are also poems in here just sort of about things that I was like figuring out how to do or figured out in my 20s how to do. But this poem is about tampons, and hopefully some people can identify with this. All right. You won't wear a tampon until your mid-20s. Now your friend Mary teaches you from the other side of the bathroom stall. The photo on the box makes less and less sense as it looks nothing like you've ever seen in your body, although you've never ventured too far into yourself. You won't for many years. You keep accidentally popping the cotton from the plastic. You both have wasted so many tampons. But it's just so much cleaner, according to Mary. It's the beginning of worrying endlessly about the state of your vagina, just how it's supposed to smell. Because the girls who smell like fish obviously don't know, and you don't want to be caught like they are in a schoolboy's net of dirty jokes. So putting a tampon in is important business, even though you don't know where anything is. And the prodding of yourself is just a baseless science experiment. It's so easy for some girls, like Mary, who understands the severity of this very situation, who says, keep trying, and maybe you'll never be one of those girls with an accepting body. This feels sad, and Mary says she'll do it for you. But instead, you remember your godmother warning, don't show anyone your vagina. And you imagine that means everyone, including yourself. So take defeat. Let the white cotton float in the hollow toilet. Let blood drip on the seat. Let the blood continue to fill pads over years and years. Pass by tampons in the store. Become the girl with the red-stained thighs, leaking on a school chair, the one who can never tell when her pad is full. Every month, let your inside sprout gills. Let yourself learn how to breathe under bleeding, how to shape uterine lining into fins. Watch as you become a girl in a tank of yourself, not diving deep enough to know your secret parts, not knowing the secret belongs to the ocean, the swelling sea of the self. So one time I went to get an STI test, and you know how they give you a summary of like your visit to the doctor? It said high risk heterosexual behavior. And I just didn't understand that. And and so this is a poem I just wrote. Well, I turned it into a love poem, I guess. High-risk heterosexual behavior is shoving a woman you once loved deep in a forgotten memory. It is letting her hand fall from the canyon of yours in front of a Starbucks while nothing but silence echoes. It is forgetting how her eyes collapse every fantastical norm in your body, how you kept secret the first time hands felt safe on your skin. It's the quiet triumph of feeling everything good said to be bad, feeling shame sickled underneath a nervous smile, as if it is a curse to know such comfort from a girl that looks like you, with breasts bound against your full ones, chests breathing into each other like parentheses, as if to keep you both safe. This risk of two bodies, starting fires one summer, burns for years, creates craters of loss, transports you both to another planet, where you are both held by vast space, where your insides quake so much those on earth feel you tremble, where you both have capsized all the homes you've built sexuality into, where you've both burnt all things ordinary, where you cradle all the cinders, where you never fall asleep. I don't have an introduction for this poem. Okay. I wonder if he knows he has made my body less mine today. I wonder if I am the only one reminded of what loss feels like. Wonder if the taker feels remorse. Wonder if my father felt remorse when my mother made her bed in our living room after leaving my father in her bedroom. Wonder if he remembers her chanting, "I don't want to." Wonder how she kept distance in her own home, how she kept her body hers. I am told of my grandmother who had 2 children, the third in the haze, that sounds like my mother's I don't want to. I wonder if I have inherited the state of being conquered. Wonder if I have become land today. If the treading upon my body is a legacy from the women who have come before me, women who fought in their own homes, whose bodies were made less theirs, more someone else's. Wonder if they too knew that they were land, that maybe they were earth, that maybe survival starts in the root deep in trauma soil, that it funnels through generations of seeds like fire until the entire tree is burning. All right, so that's all the poems from this book. Do you have more? That's all the poems from this book, but you can buy this book at the table. So one time I got a writing prompt that was to take a unlikely character on an unlikely journey or something like that. So I did Lisa Simpson. Okay. When Lisa Simpson accompanies you to the club, she will ask you why strangers' hands end up around your waist, beckoning your body to obey. She will hold her tongue as the blaring misogyny encapsulates the room in a seance. She will beg your throat to unswallow random shots brought to you through drunken kindness. She will hold your purse while you pee, make friends with other off-kilter women in the bathroom. She will drink water and count your drinks. She will dance to single ladies and nothing else. She will see the shortness of your skirt, the eyes following your bare legs. She won't blame you for it. When Lisa Simpson accompanies you to the club, she will not make you feel bad about your one-night stand. Instead, she will ask about your heart. She will ask how it breathes under the gallows of slut-shame torment. She will never tell you that your body was asking for it. She will not embody the empty of a second-wave feminist promise. She won't clutch her pearls while you shake your ass amongst trap music. She will not use her privilege to rage against your freedom or present your body as collateral in her music videos. She will not forge her voice against a hashtag announcing white women's liberation. She will not treat you as ghost, forgetting the glass ceiling of your very being. When Lisa Simpson accompanies you to the club, she will not run her fingers through your hair or ask you to touch it. She will not refer to your name as ethnic. She will not insist that you know the lyrics to a Nicki Minaj song. Lisa Simpson will not ask you to braid her hair or wear a dashiki or a Native American headdress. She will not address your sexuality with a muzzle or ask you to keep yourself contained or to go tanning or where she can meet black guys, black women, or black people. When Lisa Simpson accompanies you to the club, she will remember a 70s women's movement that kept you outsider. She will remember a current women's movement that keeps you outsider. She will let you speak for yourself, not appropriate your culture. She will not create websites to teach white people about things such as urban slang. She will never utter the words reverse racism. She will know better. When Lisa Simpson accompanies you to the club or any social event, she will ask about your safety, your sanity. She will hold your hand. She will know that she doesn't understand. She will accept this. She will ask you how to be a better ally. You will tell her if you feel like it. You will laugh together, unpack your missteps. She will listen to the details of your sexual escapades and ask about your consent. She will listen to you. She will listen. When Lisa Simpson accompanies you to the club, she will listen with her whole self while checking her own bias. She won't ask you to educate her. She will know. Lisa Simpson would know. I have one more poem to do, I think. So I'm also working on a collection of poems about growing up with a parent who has schizophrenia. So a lot of my poems are dedicated to my mom, but this is something I just wrote on a visit with her. Well, after a visit with her, and yeah, I don't know if it's even a poem, but I'm gonna read it. All right. My mother and I loiter some front steps of a young professional's apartment in Boston. She smokes, I hold my breath. It is hard for both of us to breathe. for wildly different reasons. Hers is heavy doses of meds. Mine is small doses of meds, meant to make seeing her less painful and other things less crushing. Today it is hot. She tries to blow her cigarette smoke away from me. She doesn't know much about me anymore, but she knows I've always hated the smoke, knows I've always hated how we haven't been able to connect since she used to roll my infant body in a stroller, while she fumbled through her schizophrenia, while I knew nothing but how to love her, the way babies know how, the way babies don't know that they are experiencing pain, but that something is hurting and breaking. My mother is a hurting thing, but like a baby, she doesn't know this. So I sing to her about how work is, how the family is doing, and this calms her all the time. I imagine she feels no pain if only for a moment, and I can smile for a moment, and I wonder if this is how it feels to be a mother, to know the evil of this world and to soothe anyway, even when the consoling never comes back, even when it leaves you empty. I can't pretend to know anything about birthing, but I know how to make up stories about how happy I am to a woman on a front stoop who can't believe her daughter is 3 years from 30, who can't believe she had a baby once, who can now speak back to her all the lullabies meant to make everything okay, meant to shield everything soft, like we are told only mothers could. I don't know how to be a mother, but somehow I have learned to keep every hard lesson tucked away until enough time has passed, until the world has aged us both old enough to learn. Thank you.